I guess we could transition into one of our topics for today. And so I don't know if you're familiar with it. My tabs just closed on it. That's great. But there is a thing called imposter syndrome. And yeah, so hold on, I'm gonna pull up my tab, the psychological definition of it for you first. There it is. Okay, imposter syndrome is, now I first heard about it when I started learning how to code and doing computer programming, because that field is one where women are tremendously underrepresented. I think it's to the point, it's like 80-20, 80% males, 20% women in in the tech sector. So a lot of the women suffer from imposter syndrome, and can be defined as a collection of feelings of inadequacy that persist despite evident success. Imposters suffer from chronic self-doubt and a sense of intellectual fraudulence that override any feelings of success or external proof of their competence. And I think just in general, as women, we tend to suffer from it more because we are always trying to prove our worth, especially in the workplace.
Oh,
yeah. I think it even touches us in the entrepreneur realm, because you're basically having to go stand on your own 2 feet and say, hey, I do this service, I sell this product, work with me, and usually if you're an entrepreneur and you're just working by yourself, you don't have a partner, you don't have a company behind you that's like promoting you, like a multi-level marketing company or something like that. You're presenting yourself. It can get very difficult. It can be very difficult to just say, yeah, I can do this. It's like, for example, like for me, I can do websites, but when I apply for jobs and to do like computer websites, I feel real nervous about it, because I'm like, okay, I mean, will they accept me? Will they accept my experience level? Will they accept my skill level? And I think it's something that we have to work on, our confidence as entrepreneurs and as women, mothers, whatever, that we're entering into this realm, to know that there are people who have no experience, no talent, no skill, and they put up a sign and say, I will do this for you, and they don't even care. And we're all worried about whether or not we're experienced enough or we have enough talent or skill, and we're worried about putting our best foot forward. And people fake it till they make it all the time and are successful in many ways. So what do you think about imposter syndrome?
Well, I'll tell you, that is definitely something that I know that I've had.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want to say that I'm 100% recovered, because I'm not. Okay. However, I am now more comfortable with doing what I think I don't know.
Okay. Yep.
There was a time, especially, it's funny for me, when I got into the entrepreneurial space, I was forced.
Yeah.
And I always had people telling me, wow, you would be really good in business. You should have your own business. And my answer always was, well, what if I fail?
Yeah. Yeah.
What if I fail? I don't have anything to go back on.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's, I'm not going to fail. I'm going to succeed.
That's right. Yep.
But now, and I think some of that comes with age.
Yeah.
Comes with upbringing.
Mm-hmm.
Let's not even, we could have a whole time talking about upbringing.
Yeah.
And, because you have that self-sabotage against yourself, where you put all these hurdles in front of yourself to do something that you should be doing, that you know you should be doing, but you just don't do it.
Yeah.
So for me, the way I got over it was I had to step into the unknown, because if I didn't, we weren't going to eat.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So I did it quietly. I didn't tell anybody. Like, I think probably for a couple years, people didn't know I had my own business.
Right.
because I don't think I talked about it on Facebook hardly.
Yeah.
I didn't put anything out there at all about it. I just put my head down, did what I needed to do, and got things done. That's kind of how I did. And then I started feeling more comfortable in my own skin, and I was like, I'm a boss lady. I run things.
That's right. Yeah.
You know, because it hits you when, like, I remember just because my first business was a cleaning business, and I remember I was helping another franchisee clean their place, because me and this person, we had like a thing where we were like, sometimes we didn't have money for employees. So what him and I did, we kind of helped each other.
Okay.
So he helped me clean and I helped him clean.
Yeah.
And he had a bigger package than I did, so he got more accounts. And so it got to the point where he had employees, and he said, I want you in charge of them.
Yeah.
I was like, okay. And then I just kind of remember, so I was working on something, and someone was like, all right, boss. And I was like, we're going to do this, 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 and this. I'm like, who they talking to?
Right.
All right, boss. Whatever you say, boss. All right. So we got clean up here. Make sure you get all the way up here. Remember, we got to check the floor, because people check the corner. Like, because I was just doing what I normally did, and that hit me like, I'm the boss.
You're the boss. That's right. Yeah.
I don't know if I can do this. How can I be in charge?
It is scary, because it's like, oh man, like, I think it's the realization that people are looking to you for the answers. And you're like, am I sure I have the right answers? Am I sure? You know, it is a responsibility. But what always kills me is, like, sometimes when I'm in judgment mode, I try not to be in judgment mode too much, and I'll see other people putting out things. You know, they'll be putting out posts, and things will be misspelled, or, you know what I mean? Just wrong.
That's a pet peeve of mine.
It's a pet peeve of mine too. Because it's like, well, one, because we write copy and stuff, and it's like, come on, Grammarly is free. Like, you know, it's just, Grammarly is my best friend. You know what I mean? It's taking a lot of work off of my eyes, because it just picks it up for you.
And you know, when you see those little red dots underneath the word, don't just ignore that.
Don't just ignore that.
Yeah. Like, no, wait a minute, it's red dots. Let me see what I did. Oh yeah, maybe I missed something. That don't sound right.
Yeah. But it's like, but I'll see that, and it's like, okay, and then the little devil on my shoulder will be like, look at them, they just put any old thing out. And then the angel on my shoulder will be like, but at least they're doing something. At least they're not, they're not being scared to put themselves out there. But I'm just like, yeah, but still, But some people don't have, but what it made me realize is that some people don't have that second guess fear. And I feel like it's part of imposter syndrome for me anyway, because it's like, I'm always having to second guess myself. I'm like, okay, am I sure this is relevant? This is going to work. And it's like, I don't have that confidence in myself to be like, yeah, so, I'm putting it out there. Now, with some things I do, other things I'm still like I'm doing life coaching, right? And so, like, I have a service that I use to help me find clients. And it's like, I bid on them, right? So I'll read some of the descriptions of the people that are looking for life coaches, and I'll be like, can I really help this person? I'm like, I don't know. Oh, can I help this? I'm not yet to the point where I'm like, I can help anybody. I don't know. I'm like, I don't know if I can help this person. I don't want them to waste their time. So I'm still, I'm still reaching out. Yeah.
I find that funny, because being that I know you personally, do you know how much you've gone through in your life, girl?
Oh gosh, yeah.
Okay.
Yes, yeah.
You know how much you've been through? You can help a lot of people.
Yes, yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying. I'll be looking at these, like, for example, there was one guy that came up, and he's in his 20s, and he's like, yeah, I just got this promotion, and I'm hanging around a lot of stars and stuff like that. And I'm like, can I help this guy? Because we have totally different lives. And I'm thinking, but maybe I'm the person, because he's worried about becoming, like, he's worried about drug and alcohol, right? He's worried about getting swept away with the fame. And I'm like, can I help? I said, he wants an accountability person. And I remember this from, I think it was, who was it? I think Michael Jackson had one. And there was somebody, a young kid, a young star that had one. They were having problems with drug and alcohol, and they get an accountability person to be part of their crew.
Lindsay Lohan.
Yes, she had one.
Yeah, she needed a few people to help.
So that's what the kid was looking for. And I'm like, can I do that? And I'm like, I'd probably be the best accountability person, because I would be totally opposite of whatever's going on in that life. So,
yeah, because you're not out here trying to be glamorous.
Not trying to be
you ain't trying to have the paparazzi stalk you.
Right. They wouldn't even know. They'd probably think I was a fan or something, and be like, "Oh no, I'm the accountability person." But things like that, and I'm thinking, can I help this person? Can I really help it? But that's imposter syndrome. I mean, on paper, I think I could help this person, but in my mind, I'm like, I don't know. I don't know if I can help this person. And I think that's part of the imposter syndrome. And it's like, it's just working on confidence and, small steps, but it's cool to identify, because before I heard about it, I didn't know about it. Like, I just thought I was just, going through issues. I didn't know there was an actual thing and that other people suffered from this. So that's what I'm hoping, by bringing it up on our show, is like, yo, don't let that stop you. There's a term for it, and it's this.
Right. Right. Because
you are not alone,
you just, and it's funny that one little leap of faith, little leap, you just never know what that leads to.
Yes.
Because I could still be back in like my corporate mindset of let me be the best little employee I could be. And honestly, there's nothing wrong with that if that's what you feel comfortable with. Because let me just explain, it ain't easy being an entrepreneur sometimes. Because let me tell y'all right now, because I have a payroll. When you have a payroll, honey, you can, like, I have so much on me that you see my fist, you see it go into a fist like this for me, because I know I'm responsible for other people's households. I take that so like,
they're not going to eat. They're going to come to your house for dinner.
Like I had probably earlier this year, I had a close colleague, friend of mine, ask me for money. Okay. And I've given them money before. They've given it back to me, and it really isn't a big deal. I wasn't concerned about giving it to them. But I knew I had this payroll.
You're like, I don't know.
And I had to say, I know where you're at. I know where you've been. I just can't.
Right.
Because I knew I had this payroll.
Yes, it's a responsibility.
It's a responsibility. Yeah. So it's not, how can I say, it's not something that, as far as like with imposter syndrome, where you can say, oh, I'm cured.
Yes.
Because I was good in my business. I had imposter syndrome the first time I had to hire somebody.
Yeah. 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 Because you're like, do I have any business hiring anybody?
Right. And I was like, oh, I got to come up with payroll every 2 weeks? Right. They need to get paid every 2 weeks, Nikki. Every 2 weeks. Yeah. And then, ADP want to get paid too.
Yeah. Oh, right.
Then when people that have employees already know what I'm talking about, then the government wants their side of the tax. Some people never talk about that. Okay. Yeah. You think you paying somebody $9 an hour. That's all you pay. Right. No. That equals out to be about $10.25, a little bit more, because how do you think people get tax returns?
Yes.
They put in all that money. The government got to get the money back somehow. They're getting it back from me.
Right. Right. Right.
So, and I had an issue in the beginning of trying to hire someone, and then I had another issue because the first person I hired didn't show up for the work.
Yeah, right. You done did all that paperwork and stuff.
Oh, I was hot. I was hot. So, it's still, for me, it comes in phases.
Yeah.
I like, honestly, even like we were talking about earlier, the ASD show.
Yeah.
I went there last year by myself.
Yeah.
I knew not one person there.
Mm-hmm.
That's a thing for me. Okay. Yeah. I'm a Black woman traveling by myself. I had a safeguard everything.
Right. Yeah.
I'm like, where my mace? I got something. I keep my keys in my fingers. You just don't know. So what I did was I negated my fears and said, okay, I have issues with being too far away from where I need to be. So I got a hotel across the street from the place.
Mm-hmm.
That worked out perfectly.
Right.
In fact, I did the same thing this year.
Did the same thing.
Okay?
Right.
Because actually where I really wanted to be was the hotel that's connected to the place, but all the rooms that they had available, I wasn't getting.
Yeah, I didn't even look there. I was like, I'll find some place close.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I did that, and then I even went out on the strip a couple times to see things. I was like, okay, that was actually a first for me to travel by myself like that. Now, I've traveled for business in the past,
right?
But it was on another company's dime,
right?
You know what I'm saying? And I met with people there. Or I was already with a colleague, so I wasn't really by myself, sort of. Yeah. I just didn't bring husband and kids.
Right.
But this one, I was by myself. And that actually kind of was a little scary for me. Yeah. And then when I got there, I can do this.
Yeah.
I can do this, walking around, talking to people, seeing new products, So now I'm comfortable.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just taking that leap. That's
exactly. That's it. That's it. That's my way of getting over it. Just take that one leap, and and actually sometimes find out why you feel that way. Are you feeling like you're not worthy?
Yeah.
Are you feeling like you don't have enough education?
Yeah.
School of YouTube?
Yeah. Yeah.
School of Google, if you need more information than what that provides, is there a class that you can take? Is someone selling a course? Because, everybody's selling a course these days.
Oh, yes. Oh, yeah.
Okay? Everybody got a course. So
I'm working on one, too. Yes.
Okay. So, find out, do I need a little bit more education about this, or is your problem with handling people? Well, you determine how you want people to correspond with you. Do it through email only.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a lot to get over.
It is.
It's not one of those things where you can be like, I'm cured, because I'm not.
Yeah.
It creeps up every now and again.
Yeah.
Every now and again.
Go through it all the time. And then I got to stop and ask myself, why am I afraid? What, just like you said, what's the real issue here? And, but it's funny. I think though, we shouldn't overlook too. I mean, as women in business and these different roles that we're taking on, there is discrimination too. I mean, there are, there are people that won't work with you or will try to lowball. This is my favorite. People who try to lowball you because you're a woman, because you're a Black woman, because I'm a Black woman. It's like, and so that is real. But I think sometimes to overcompensate, that's why I'm always looking like, okay, do I know enough? Do I have enough experience? Am I doing you know what I mean? Because I know that there's that discrimination there, and I want to be able to ask for what I'm worth. And when somebody comes back at me and says, oh, well, I only want to pay you this, I can come back and say, oh, no. This is what market rate is. This is what, you need to pay me this. So, yeah, I mean, so those things are real, but I think sometimes we blow it out of proportion in our own heads. Like, okay, I'm not ready. No, you're ready. You're ready. Right. I mean, especially what always makes me laugh is to find out people like Bill Gates and Zuckerberg. They didn't even finish college. I mean, they didn't. You know what I mean? They dropped out and to start these billion-dollar companies. They don't have imposter syndrome, obviously. Like they didn't even think. No, and they were at top tier colleges too. I mean, they were at what Zuckerberg was at Harvard or I can't remember which college he was.
MIT.
You see, something like that. And
one of them. Look, one of them.
Yeah, Bill Gates was at Stanford. Like, these are top tier colleges. They just dropped out.
I think they were all at Stanford. I'm not sure.
Yeah, but they just dropped out and just said, I'm going to pursue my own thing. I know what I'm doing.
I could just imagine how that conversation went with my mama. My mama would have had none of that.
Yeah.
But you realize their kids could be like, I don't gotta go to college, Dad. Look what you did.
Right. Like, Dad, Microsoft. Come on. I'm going to go bounce around Europe for a little bit.
Right. Take a few gap years, a few of them.
Yeah. So there's real discrimination, but don't let that stop you. You don't have to stop it. Yeah.
I always say you keep getting, actually, it's good to get a no once in a while.
Yeah, I agree.
Because that no might tighten you up so you can get that yes. And I like when those no's turn into yes, like, oh, I didn't realize you were like this.
Yeah.
Or that this is the type of service you provide because I talked to so-and-so and I didn't know you did X, Y, and Z. Well, you should have used my services. They're still available, but now my prices have gone up.
That's right. Now my prices have gone up. Right. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, so you suffer from that imposter syndrome, make a comment, talk to us.
Yeah.
You never know. Just never know. Or talk to yourself. Just don't let that stop you from doing your dreams.
Yeah. Yeah. And you know what? Just like you said, sometimes the no is good. And then also sometimes you do need more education. Sometimes you do need to brush up on your skills. But you won't find that out until you take the risk. And then it's like sometimes I'm sure you've been through this where you bit off more than you could chew, and you're like, I remember a long time ago, back in way back, I used to do T-shirts and I used to do screen printing, like I used to have heat and stuff. And I took a job for a group of cheerleaders to do their T-shirts, and I was like, yeah, I can do that.
Okay.
So when it all came down to it, with my little heat press and stuff like that, I had to do 40 T-shirts and 40 shorts, for pair of shorts. Girl, I was working on that for 3 days. I was like, I done bit off more than I could chew. And I was like, okay, if I'm going to do this on a large scale, I need to do this in a different way because, I learned a lesson with that one. I don't know what I was thinking. Sure, let me do the whole team. I'm in my room, pressing, put the thing on, press. 40 T-shirts, 80 pieces of clothing I'm doing, and I'm like, yeah, this is for the birds. I'm not doing this.
It's done in a weekend.
I'm like, I don't know what I was thinking. But I learned, and I said, okay, so for large orders, it's called call out. Somebody else is gonna do that because they have I had one small heat press. I don't know what I was thinking. It was funny. It was funny, but one small heat press, and I'm thinking I'm gonna do 80 pieces of clothing. And I told the girl, I was like, yeah. Before I did, I was like, this would only take me a day to do these. And I'm like, I had to call her back up, and I'm like, yeah, we need about 2 more days. I've done 10. And I'm like, yeah.
Oh, wow.
2 more
days. So that's half the squad?
Yeah, right. Yeah. And see, the crazy part is the design. it wasn't just like one design. It was like something I had to cut out letters for.
Oh.
Those were the days. Yeah. I'm like, I don't know what I was thinking. I was not thinking. I should have had some imposter syndrome. I was like, yeah, sure, I'll do it. I can handle it. Yeah, I was working all weekend on that. All weekend. But it taught me, I'm like, okay, if I'm gonna be doing t-shirts, I need a better system of how to do this, because there's no way I can do any more than 5 t-shirts in like one sitting. That's complicated. It was funny. It was a learning experience.
Wow. Well, look at that. But you learned from it. And
I learned how to do t-shirts. I was like, yeah, I'm not doing that again.
Well, you learned from it, you know.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, but your experience, someone listening can listen to what you have to say. Now, granted, things are done way differently now for t-shirts.
Yeah.
You know, now you can go on Canva and do a design, which is one of my businesses, by the way.
Yeah.
You know, I like to do my merch Amazon and Teespring, but
yeah. Oh yeah.
There's a whole nother business. Look, we just give you another business. We always do on the show. So.
Oh yeah.
But it was a learning experience, and now you know. But now you know also for other businesses to put in mind, okay, how long is this going to take? You know, so if you go now to, let's say you do a cleaning job, you can go look at something and go, okay, this sucker is going to take time.
Yes.
And you don't, because you understand it's best to be like, yeah, up front, this is going to be a 4 to 6 hour job. And how clean do you want it?
Yeah. Oh, I mean, it cracked me up one day, like experience-wise. I had a guy contact me so my niche is Airbnb units, right? So I had a guy contact me, and he was like, he had 3 units, a 3-bedroom, a 2-bedroom, and a 1-bedroom. And I gave him my rate, and I said, but I really need to see them. I said, this is tentative. It'll be around. I said, but I need to see the spot. So the 3-bedroom was huge.
Of course.
So when he came back at my quote, he came back and wanted them all the same price and said that it was going to take an hour. And I was like,
no,
sir, never going to take an hour to clean a 3-bedroom unit. It's never going to take an hour.
Because first of all, you have to assume it's going to be anywhere between 6 to 8 people in that unit.
Yeah, right, exactly. You don't know. It's like, exactly. And that means 3 beds that you got to strip. I said, you know what? Never mind. Because he wanted me to give him the same rate for each room. And I'm like,
it doesn't work that way.
And I said, I was like, what if, they're unusually dirty? You know what I'm saying? Like, they have a party there or something. I was like, yeah. I said, that's not gonna work. So I had to decline the business because when he came back for my quote, it was totally, completely unrealistic. Like, yeah, you've been catching me with that one. But that's one of those things where I feel like, had it been a man, might have been different. You know what I mean? I always do those things. Like, would he have come back at my quote, for that? Because I'm just like,
but that's unrealistic anyway, because there's no way that you're going to quote the same amount for a 3-bedroom that you would for a 1-bedroom. You're just not.
Like, that's what I'm saying. I said, this is just ridiculous. So, and that's the type of thing. Those are the things that make me angry. Like,
I'm with you. I understand. Yeah, because when I do my proposals, I do, well, because I do commercial, so I need to know square footage, and I always say everything is tentative. And there we go. Yeah, I always say everything is tentative because we have to do a walkthrough.
Yes.
Because a walkthrough tells me how dirty it is, really. And then that also tells me the spots that you care about that get cleaned.
Yep.
Because you may have an employee lounge or something like that where you're fine if it gets mopped once a week, but maybe it needs it every day.
Right.
Well, you're going to pay for that.
Right.
Okay. And people that tell me, when it comes to, for bathrooms, that's, for me, I feel very honored that I'm known that my bathrooms are always clean.
Yes. Yes.
So when it comes to bathrooms, I do not play.
Right. Yeah.
Because, and so when people say, oh, you don't have to do that on every cleaning, trying to make a charge go down, I understand why you want us to not do X, Y, and Z. However, my reputation is on the line that we clean this.
Yes. Yep.
So we clean the whole bathroom. Now, we don't wipe down every wall every day. No. However, there are things that we do every day so that when a person comes in here, they can go, wow, it's sparkling clean on Thursday.
Right. And see, and the other thing is, like, when you're doing it for somebody else, like a commercial or even like Airbnb, the people sometimes don't realize that this is still my business. Even though I'm doing it on contract for you and you're setting the image, if somebody, like, I had somebody ask me when I was cleaning one unit, and he was like, oh, he's looking at what I'm doing. And he's like, oh, I have an Airbnb unit too. He's like, we're renovating it, but when it's ready, can I call you? And I'm like, yeah. But he's looking at my work product and he's making a determination. So even if they say, hey, you don't have to vacuum, you don't have to do this or whatever, it's like, oh, yes, I do, because you aren't the only one that I am marketing to. So
right.
Market to your neighbor who peeks in and says, oh, I got an Airbnb unit too, So
exactly. Because I'm all about quality over quantity.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So they got a lot of gems today. So
yes, lots of gems today.
Personal business,
right? We always giving our personal business out on this podcast.
Right. You know how we making our money now.
Some of the ways, not all of them.
That's right. Not all of them. That's right. Yeah. So you got, so there are all kinds of opportunities out there. I think that's the beauty of this, is that, sometimes I wish I knew more when I was younger and I wasn't so like focused on like going to school and stuff like that. I value going to school, but
of course.
Now when I think about it, and even when I think about my own kids and like what their future is going to be, I'm like, there's ways to make money. It doesn't necessarily have to follow the party line of, go
right.
to their college, do this. And that these things might provide more joy in your life.
Well, if you think about it, like, did you really need that philosophy class?
Right. Exactly. There's so many useless classes. I don't even remember, hate it.
Did you need women's studies? Like, let me stop. but I went to a technical school in the beginning, and I will say I liked that curriculum because the core classes that I had, I still use today. I use my accounting class.
Yeah.
And I use my business English class.
Yes.
Because the accounting class, the business English class, and we had a couple other like core courses that we took. Those things I can still use.
Yeah.
Don't know if I needed to go to school. I probably could have learned some of that off of YouTube, but things were different back then. They were different back then. So
there is so much free and low cost information available. It is disgusting.
Yeah.
I think about our first real estate courses. The cost of those and what they cost now. And and it's like so much money spent on, I
had a good time in that course though.
He was a good teacher, but
we had a good teacher who was quite entertaining. He loved his job. I'll never forget this, the picture of the person smoking a joint, so we can remember joint and what it meant. If I had nothing else out of that class, I got that. And but now that's helpful for me. But I kind of, because I'm dabbling now in the real estate game. This whole time I thought I needed to have a license to do this.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Well, unfortunately and fortunately, I guess you could say, that is the trend of real estate. I mean, that business model of a real estate brokerage and agency, that is really going out the window. I mean, they probably got a good 10, 20 years left with it. So many people are just getting into real estate. I mean, people are preferring to buy properties without representation. It's just, the NRA, National Real Estate, like NRA, NAR, I can't remember.
National Association of Realtors.
Yeah, they are. Yeah. They're really fighting hard to keep relevant. So it's like, but they got money, so they, so yeah.
Well, I think we had a good show.
I think so too.
I think we're good to wrap up.
Okay, let's do it.
Yeah, so we just want to thank you guys for watching and listening. And, if you get anything out of what we talk about, like we don't really want you to think like when we say email us or comment that we don't care. We actually do.
Oh,
If you have a topic that you're like, I'm working with this issue in this business, send it to us.
Yeah.
You never know. We might have someone that we know we could bring on.
Oh, yeah.
In the next coming weeks, we are going to have some guests coming on to talk about different side hustles and businesses that you guys can look into. So we're going to really bring things up for you guys where if you're like, I know I'm an Entrepremommy, but I still got my 9 to 5, but I need a little something on the side. We got those things coming up. And everything that we talk about, you can still do on the side.
Yes. Yep.
You could still do that on the side. Does that mean you got to put more hours in? Yes.
Yeah. But you're just watching Netflix anyway.
Exactly. And does that mean you might have to work a little bit harder? Yes. Yeah. Set up your time right. Go through your life and figure out, when am I not doing nothing productive?
Right. Yeah. That's my biggest argument when people be watching sports and stuff, and I'm like, I ain't watching them. They ain't helping me out. I'm not contributing to their $1 million salaries. No, thank you.
I ain't gonna lie. I can't live without my football.
Watch it, honestly.
Huh?
I'm like,
I ain't gonna lie. I do have to watch my football sometimes.
I know. I check out the Eagles.
I have to watch my football sometimes. My husband's the one that doesn't watch any sports.
Oh, really?
Yes, he doesn't watch any sports. He's not into sports. No. He's not into anything like that. But he knows that we got to get a sports package so I can watch my games. Sometimes, though, I will watch a basketball game. Actually, I don't watch as much as I used to, though, because especially if you're a basketball fan, you're committed. You know how many games they play a week?
Yes. But it's like a cult, though. You know what I mean? It's like a cult. That's why I was just like, shoot, I'm not getting involved.
So, guys, thank you so much. All right. So, I've been Tiffy T.
I'm Nicole.
And we are the mommies that handle business. Thanks for watching Entrepremommies and listening.
Okay.